There are some projects that ask you to sit down and simply begin, and then there are ones that ask you to slow down first. So before I picked up my hook, I made myself a cup of tea and settled back into work. There's something I love about the small ritual: the kettle, the warmth of the cup in your hands, clearing a little space on the table. It feels like a quiet way of telling yourself, we have time for this. When I left this project last time, I had a few ideas on paper and even more questions in my head. I knew where I wanted to go, I just wasn't entirely sure how I was going to get there. And sometimes that's really what designing is: not having every answer before you begin, but giving yourself enough room to discover them along the way. I came back to the sketches I had started earlier, looking at the shapes again with a little more distance. Some of the lines made sense immediately, others had to be changed. Measurement here, a note in the margin there. Sometimes even the smallest adjustment can change the way an entire piece begins to come together. That's one of my favorite parts of making something from scratch. The sketch is only the beginning. Once the yarn and hook are involved, the design starts talking back. You discover things you couldn't have seen on the page. A stitch behaves differently than you expected. A shape grows a little faster or a little slower. And suddenly you're just not following the idea anymore. You're listening to it. So eventually the pencil had to give way to the hook. There comes a point where you can only think about a design for so long. At some point, you have to make the first stitch and see what happens. And that's where this part of the process becomes a little more instinctive. Count, stitch, look at it, try again. And slowly the idea that lived on paper starts becoming something you can actually hold. I think there's a rhythm that settles in when you make something slowly. The work becomes familiar, your hands know what to do, while your mind has room to wander. And maybe that's part of why I enjoy crochet so much. It gives you something to do with your hands while leaving just enough quiet for everything else. A cup of tea beside you, yarn running through your fingers, and a few more rows than you had when you started. By the end of the afternoon, I hadn't finished the design. I hadn't solved every little question, but I had something I didn't have when I sat down: progress. And sometimes that's enough. I think that's what I want to remember about this season of making. Not every project has to be finished in one sitting, and not every idea has to arrive fully formed. Sometimes we simply return to the table, make a little progress, and trust the rest will come in time. Until next time, keep making beautiful things, one stitch at a time.